Hello, well, with some wetter weather back with us for the western side of the South Island as we head through the rest of today for Tuesday and similarly for Wednesday as well. Out towards the east, drier and warmer. In fact, some pretty high temperatures through parts of Canterbury and up into Hawke's Bay and Gisborne as well as we head through the next few days. Let's carry on though with a look at Tuesday afternoon. You can see as rainfall pushes in from the Tasman Sea, feeds in to Fiordland, Westland, up into parts of the Grey District and Buller as well. Some heavy rainfall through there. On the North Island, things generally are quieter. Still areas of clouds to watch out for. Perhaps a little bit of drizzle about the higher parts of the Carpentry Coast. But generally things are looking drier on the North Island and down this eastern side of the South Island as well. As we head through the night time, a similar sort of story. We'll keep hold of cloudier skies and some wetter weather for the western side of the South Island. Thicker cloud across the western side of the North Island as well. We might find a bit of that cloud run towards Auckland, in towards the Bear. Plenty to start the day tomorrow. But on that eastern side, things are still looking pretty dry and pretty clear as we head through the night time. And nighttime temperatures as well look pretty warm too. There are still some heavy rain warnings in place, particularly for the ranges of Westland through to about 7 p.m. on Tuesday. We could find as much as 90 to 100 millimetres of rainfall through there. Watches either side of that warning. And you can see we've got some wind watches as well for the likes of, say, Wairarapa through the afternoon on Tuesday and possibly again on Wednesday. And that watch you can see down the far south is for later on Wednesday and Thursday. But like I was saying, temperatures overnight tonight, pretty warm indeed. Look at those nighttime lows across the North Island, 19 degrees Celsius there in Napier. For a minimum temperature, that's very warm indeed. In fact, we're going to find those nighttime stay pretty warm and muggy over the next few nights. Something to watch out for places like Napier and Hastings. Through the daytime on Wednesday, the best of the brightness on those eastern sides. Still more wet weather on the western coast of South Island, more rainfall and a chance of perhaps some thunderstorms pushing through there as well. We'll find some patchy rain running up in towards parts of Southland, Otago by the end of the day. Also those winds increasing around Stewart Island and around that far southeastern coast. For the North Island, well, generally a lot of the weather is much more settled. There's still areas of cloud to watch out for, particularly on those western facing coasts. We might find a little bit more in the way of drizzle or perhaps some patchy rain at perhaps the higher parts of the far southern areas of the North Island as well. Places like Taumarunui may catch a bit more in the way of cloud towards the end of the day, but generally I think drier weather on the North Island and very warm indeed. Let's have a look at the North Island. So you can see we start off with a bit of cloud around, perhaps even a bit of early morning fog in parts of Northland. That breaks up and clears away for most of us. You find there's a bit more cloud that feeds in towards parts of Manawatu, the Horowhenua area, and down towards the Carpentry Coast. Any drizzle, though, is likely to be out the tops of the hills. We might find an odd shower springing up about the ranges of Tairāwhiti towards the end of the day, but really just picking out the areas of wet weather. Most of the time, it's looking dry and some pretty decent spells of afternoon sunshine for places like Auckland. So a fine looking story there. For Wellington, areas of cloud, particularly first thing in the morning, but that should break up and some brightness through the afternoon. Top temperatures in Wellington, 21 degrees Celsius. But you'll notice we've got these pockets of warmer air, or very high temperatures actually, for the time of year. Places like Hawke's Bay up to around about 29, even 30 degrees Celsius as we head through the daytime on Wednesday. And like I say, it's worth saying that with those warm nights as well, there's not much time to lose the heat of the day. So we'll find it stays very warm even through the nighttime. And with the daytime temperatures on Thursday still pretty high as well, well worth keeping an eye on the temperatures there. It is going to be a very hot story on these eastern areas because of those warm nights coming through. But you can see as well, even Auckland, 23 degrees Celsius there, and overnight minimum temperatures for you, 16 degrees Celsius. Heading down towards the South Island, well, again, you've got that nice east-west split. More cloud on those western-facing areas with some showers, some longer spells of rain, some thunderstorms pushing through towards Fiordland, Westland, up in towards Grey and Buller. But for Nelson, Marlborough, down through Canterbury, generally a dry, fine-looking day. More cloud feeds in towards Southland and Otago through the afternoon. Bring with it some patchy rain, and we'll also find those winds increasing the southwesterlies through Stewart Island, Southland and Otago, particularly around this far southern coast. That's where we've got our next strong wind watch view is for that latter part of the day on Wednesday through in towards Thursday. The northwesterlies, though, will also be pretty brisk around the likes of the Canterbury High Country, bringing some of that warm air down towards the eastern side as well. Temperatures in Christchurch back up to 27 degrees Celsius. A very warm day for you as well. In fact, across Canterbury looks to be a very warm story. 30 degrees Celsius there up in Blenheim, up across Marlborough. So again, keeping hold of that warm air across towards the eastern side, giving you a pretty hot looking day as we head through Wednesday. And overnight temperatures 18 degrees Celsius in Christchurch, stays incredibly warm as we head in towards the early hours of the morning on Thursday. So I think we are going to find it stays pretty warm through there. You can see as we head in towards Thursday, this band of wet weather makes its way towards the central parts of New Zealand. So we'll find some wet weather across Nelson to start the day and up in towards those far southern parts of the North Island. But with higher pressure to the north, keeping things quite slow moving, it's probably unlikely to make its way towards Auckland until really late in the day when we start finding that cloud thickening up. Some clearer skies back down south, a bit more in the way of a southerly breeze, so perhaps a cooler feeling day, particularly towards the end of the day on Thursday. And that's it from me. As always, you can find all the latest updates over at metservice.com.